Okay, so I'm going to do the head, and I'm basing it off of this plastic model kit that I got of the head so I can play around with it. And I'm going to modify it a little bit because there's certain things I don't like about it. But I just wanted to show a few little different tricks here. So maybe the first thing I'll do is I keep looking at this side piece here. And let's go and look at it like this. You can see my dog in the background. Oh, there he is again. Okay, no, I don't care about that. I'm just going to go in and try and make a nice curve on here. So I'm going to create curve tools. I could do this with maybe a sphere or something, but I feel like I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to get the CV curve tool. And let's go along this line here. Okay, something like that. Okay, great. Enter. And if I need to correct it afterwards, I can just kind of pull some of these points around so I got a nice smooth line. Okay. And I'll say that's good. And then I'm just going to hit G and I'll get the create curve tool again. And I think I'm going to follow a line right here. I'm going to make it up. I'm going to follow this thing and I can extrude afterwards when I'm done. Gotta make it match up a bit better. I'm just going to go on the outside here a little bit. Almost feel like I should go along that ridge. Okay, good enough. I put in a lot of points on that one. Actually, you know what? Screw it, I'm going to follow this ridge. Here, I'm just going to get rid of that. Keep those points low. I've kind of put in too many. Keep it smooth. All I'm doing is deleting them. It's not bad because I'm going to do other things to that afterwards. There, we got some kind of nice curve. Maybe this one can kind of come down a bit. Okay, and that one nice and round. Okay, good. And so I got these two curves. And I'm just going to pull them out here so they're not right on the side. And maybe from the front view, see, I can pull this one. I'm just going to hit B. And B, I'll just play with my soft selection a little bit. You can play with soft selection on curves. Okay. That's looking fine. This one back here, I'm just going to turn B off, and maybe I'll hold down X and I'll pop that one back over here to the grid. And this one here is going to come back a little bit. Okay, and here I'll just do this in perspective view so you can see what I'm doing. What I'm thinking about, maybe. Or lack of thinking about. Here we'll go back to the front view. Now this one here is probably right along there. It just needs some minor tweakage. Grab that one, hit B so I have a soft selection, and it looks like my soft selection was soft enough. Let's do something like that. There we go. Let's pull this back this way a wee bit. A wee bit. Okay, and that point there, let's turn B off. That should actually, who am I, what am I doing? Turn that off. And if I hold down X and I pop that one to the back here, and this one can kind of come around like that. Okay, and now we'll take a look at that in the perspective view and see how that looks. Okay, so that's kind of like the outline of that shape. Okay, and I'm just going to take these two pieces here, and I'm going to go into the surface menu, and there's something here called loft. And when you're lofting, if I hit apply, I get that. Okay. It went black. It went black because the curves are going in a different direction than they want the surface to go. So actually, let's just do that one more time so you can see this. If I go to the other side, it's gray on that side. If I did something like I took the curves and I went to curves and I hit reverse curve direction, and then I hit apply, it'll be gray on this side and black on the other. Okay. But we've got a couple of problems here. First off, the geometry doesn't look very nice. And it's a NURBS! Who wants NURBS? Let's undo that. Output geometry, go to polygons. And if you go into these settings here, the way to remember this, here I'm just going to reset the tool. Polygons, I would say general quads likes the third option. I'm not going to go in here and explain all these things. These are the settings it should be on. You should put these settings on and you'll get 99% of the time exactly what you want. When I hit apply, I get this. Now I've got another problem happening here. If I look at these curves, and here I'll put on wireframe unshaded so there. The curves have a different amount of points on each one. And if I take a look at this one apparently has 4 spans. What about this one down here? This one here has 4 spans as well. That doesn't make sense. I think it's got more. Anyway, it doesn't have enough points on them, so I'm just going to go in there and select the curves. And I'm going to go to curves, and I'm going to use the rebuild function. And I'll put on 0 to number of spans, and let's put this up to, say, 12. When I hit apply, it rebuilds it and makes them even. And I'm getting a little bit of stretched geometry here and there, but this is going to give me some relatively nice flow. Okay, so let's close this, and if I make this kind of transparent, actually that's funny, that should have Lambert 1 on it. Oh, I didn't, this is a new scene. I was going to import this over into the other scene, and then I kind of got, okay, whatever, I'll import it over later. Let's just, do I have a trans button on here? Of course not! Let's just go zipping into my Lambert 1. The attribute editor up, and Lambert 1 is going to find itself right over here. Frame 1, keys selection, frame 20, make it transparent, key selection, and there. So I can kind of quickly look through it, and I should be able to easily insert edge loops onto this too. So if I go in and I insert edge loops, I'll pop a loop here. Put another loop there, and it worked out not too bad. You can see some of these aren't lined up very well. Okay, and I'm gonna have to do some work, but that's okay. And if I want this point here to move along this edge, if you hold down C and you middle click, I gotta make sure the center is yellow. C and you middle click, you can go in and pop it so it's right along the edge and slide it along that edge. Okay. It looks like down here I've got to do some pulling. Yeah. Okay, let's look at this one. So when we're getting around here, we've got this nice curve here, but the line is really going through those 2 points. So, and also to here, which should probably go across here, something like that. So a couple of cool things we can do is if I go in and get the multi-cut tool and I just cut from here straight up to here, there, those line up really well, and maybe did something like this from here to here, bloop. And then I can just go in here and grab this edge and go and use my little edge loop and delete trick. There, now that's nicer. I could even change some of these around here, just using the same multi-cut. Just kind of want to eyeball it. Great, there. These ones are okay. What about this one? I don't like how this one is stretched either. Okay, now I'm making a mess. Okay, but if I go in here and I double click on the edge and I use my shift, delete edge, G, there you go. Okay, so that looks neater and tidier. You might notice that some of these points, this one here is looking a little bit stretched too. Let's go back and do this. There. There. This point here, if I want to get, because I got this curve here, I can use that to my advantage. Yellow in the center, hold down C, middle click, and I can drag it along here and get a straight line out of it. And it still follows that original shape that I started with. Okay. So if I see anything here it's not quite matching, say that one, hold down C, middle click. Damn it! And now I got it snapped on the curve, and life is a happy thing. Okay. Yeah, I almost feel like I want to bring some of these back. Got to watch out because they gotta stagger their way down here. And what about this? If I hold down C and I middle click along the edge, that didn't work because I went to the other edge and I had the blue line was yellow. There we go. And oh, go to that one. See, it can't slide across the end of an edge, so you have to pick your side that you want to be on. Pick your side. And here, I'm actually just gonna put this down to here. Let's put put that there for now. But there, I've got those general geometry flows that I want in place, and my life is good. I'm just gonna delete the history. And I could put a proxy on the other side if I wanted to. Helps my brain. I'm just going to use a bit of insert edge whoop. Okay, and this might get boring to watch. I might have to think of something else to do. I'll just stop this 1 second. And whoop. And actually, these ones should come down a bit. There. And I almost feel like I need another one to get that kind of weirdo notch right there. But I won't worry about that right now. What about the shape on the top of the head? And I should also point out that, yeah, I can get this edge from, say, here all the way to here. And if I just hit my happy extrude time, it is a polygon now, so I can do whatever I want. I don't have an extrude button anymore, so there we go. And maybe that one vertice on the end when I was extruding, got to make sure that's sitting and lined up with these ones here. Okay, cool. Okay, this thing on top, what time is it? 12 minutes. I'm going to go and I'm going to create a polygon sphere. Okay, and I gotta make sure that the sphere, let's go in and rotate it, so I'm gonna hold down J, and it feels like it needs to be scaled out a bit. Feels like there might be a bit too much geometry. Let's just go down to 16 and 16. Okay, now to make it fit on over the shape here, and also here we'll just do this. By the way, you might notice I've turned off my plane handles. I freaking hate those things. Those drive me crazy. You can find it in the preferences and turn it off in the selection. I think it's in this, no, it's the manipulator section. And if you just hold down control, that's how you scale on 2 axes at once and not have to worry about the plane handles. So I get around here, and to get that shape is going to be a bit tricky, but if I go into deform, there's lattices. And with the lattice, I've noticed that I like to turn off local mode. Okay, and I just edit, reset settings, turn off local mode, and I'll turn this to 222. And when I hit apply, I get this lattice over top of my shape. And then I can make decisions. Okay, so my T divisions. Yeah, that should be good. And let's just put on wireframe unshaded. And now when I grab my lattice points and I move them, okay, I get almost like a soft selection. Okay, maybe that one there. Okay, and how do I feel about that? Okay, and it seems to pinch a bit more in the front. I'm just going to grab my scale tool, scale that down, and maybe on the sides here. How about this one? Let's see what it looks like when I do this. Okay, and that looks like that ridge is going to come up there. So I think I'm just kind of guessing what the shape is going to be a bit more like here. What if I take those and I move them down a wee bit? Okay, I think I'm going to like that. So that's actually giving me some nice geometry to play with here. And I can just delete my history, and then I can start to play with it. And if I go in and I grab my faces... Delete. Delete. And damn it. You know what? While I'm making these videos, I should admit that I feel pretty tired. I went out and I did a very long run yesterday, so if I'm... my energy just isn't quite right while I'm making these. I apologize to you if you've made it this far. Anything else I want to do in here? How about if I take some of these faces here, because we don't need this inside stuff. Bloop. Okay, great. And that inside ridge right there. There, let's get rid of that. Okay, so anyway, now I've got another shape. And I've got this one here is going to kind of fit inside, so it's... actually, I just noticed something. I probably could have kept those other vertices here. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what this looks like. As I pull this down. Yeah. And also, too, don't forget that this little cap here on the end has got issues. So if I go in and I take these out of here, and then I go and I get the multi-cut tool, I can cut from here to here. And I got to make a decision. Do I want to have the other one come down here? Or do I think they all might be a bit happier if they went across this side here? Okay, and I'll do that again on the other back side. Come in and grab these edges. Boop. And I'll use my multi-cut. This time I think that'll look better. Something like that. There. Okay. And I'll make a proxy of that later on. But I've got my general shapes for my head in place. And yeah, I can keep extruding and make these things eventually touch. And we're around the 18-minute mark, so I'm going to stop here. And I've shown you a few more of my happy tools that I use for modeling.